Welcome to the Racing Preview here for Los Alamitos Race Course. It is the weekend of California Breeders' Champions Weekend, which is going to be 2 nights this year. It's going to be Saturday, July 31st, and Sunday, August 1st here at Los Alamitos Race Course, showcasing some of the best in California breeding here at Los Alamitos. And to talk about a little bit about that card later on, I'm going to bring in here my first guest. That is, of course, Master G, Orlando Gutierrez. Orlando, the weekend of California, of highlighting the California breds has arrived here to Los Al.
Absolutely, Jose, and a great weekend of racing. We are going to have 10 races on Saturday night starting at 7:30 p.m., 10 races on Sunday starting at 7 p.m., and I thought Racing Director Scott Craigmile did a great job kind of distributing the races. On Saturday, we have the Spencer Childers Championship Handicap, as well as the Governor's Cup Futurity. And to go along with the Spencer Childers, we have some undercard races for the older horses. The Matron's going to be part of that, the Saturday card, and also the Sprint. And then on Sunday, we have the Governor's Cup Derby, and along with the Debutante and the Gents list, which are also for sophomores, and also the Freshman Stakes races, including some real big names in that one, led by Golden Boy. And also on Sunday, as a special treat, Jose, we have trials to the Claiming Futurity, new race here at Los Alamitos. 21 horses will be going in the Claiming Futurity trials. And the purse for that, $55,000. They'll be back in 3 weeks to compete the final. An interesting thing about the trials is that horses are not able to be claimed out of the trials, but you can claim them for $12,500 in the final. So when it all comes together, they can win some purse money for running in the trials, run in the final, maybe earn a big piece of that $55,000 purse, and then if the horse gets claimed, the owner gets that money for entering the horse in the Claiming Futurity. So it could be a pretty lucrative little few weekends of racing involving these horses.
It's going to be a little bit of a poker game once you get into the final there. Like you mentioned, the runners are protected in the trials. They will be offered for a claiming tag in that final there. So looking forward to it. 2 10-race programs for Saturday and Sunday. And like you mentioned, packed with stakes events highlighting the California breds here. And when I think of Spencer Childers, when I think of very nice Calbreds, when I think of greatest stakes wins, and when I think of Hawaiian shirts, Orlando.
That's right. You're looking sharp.
Who do you think of? I brought my Hawaiian shirt because you were able to get us a very nice guest, and I'm going to bring him on right now. Our guest, for the viewers, if you already guessed, Hawaiian shirts, Calbreds, Spencer Childers, greatest stakes wins. Here's our guest. Orlando, our guest, Mr. Dan Francisco.
Still got my Hawaiian shirt.
There you go.
I'm sure we took some photos of that shirt winning stakes races, Dan. So great to see you wearing that. You look fantastic, and you look nice and relaxed somewhere in Colorado, right?
Northern Colorado, just 30 miles south of Cheyenne.
Well, Jose and I were talking about, who will be a perfect guest for California Breeders' Champions Weekend. And the Spencer Childers is lined up as a fantastic race, some top runners. And when I think of top runners in the Spencer Childers, like Jose alluded earlier, Be A Bono comes to mind because for a while in the early 2000s, he dominated the Spencer Childers. And it was great, always great to see Spencer Childers himself getting that trophy for the race named in his honor.
Yeah, I know the first time we ran it, Bono was a 3-year-old. A lot of people were saying I shouldn't have run him in there, but nevertheless, Spencer says, he's naming these races after people's already dead. He said. So anyway, I think we went ahead and won 3 of them.
That's right, the record for that stakes race, and that was just one of the many stakes wins that Be A Bono had over his just outstanding career. Of course, the AQHA World Champion in 2005 won the Los Alamitos Super Derby, ran in the Champion of Champions that year. He was great as a 2-year-old, great as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and so forth. fantastic career. He ended up spending his retirement, years of retirement at the Kentucky Horse Park, and you were fortunate enough to visit him not long ago, right? What do you remember about that visit?
Oh, I'll tell you what, those people were fantastic. They treated that horse so good, and they treated us good when we come back there to see him. And he looked great. Unfortunately, he had an accident later on, but he looked great.
Yeah, Dan, I was able to visit him at the Kentucky Horse Park in 2013. So I got to see him there, quite a few years back. I was in the stands as a fan when he finished second in that Champion of Champions, where he was flying on the outside there over that wet track. I remember that race vividly because I was up in the grandstand there that stormy night. But I got to see some of his nice greatest stakes wins as a fan. One of his big performances in the feed in the Champion of Champions, and then I got to visit him there in the Kentucky Horse Park. He looked great out there. He looked like a happy horse out there, and the people took very good care of him.
Yes, they did.
And in 2005, I remember that Champion of Champions as well, because it was one of those foggy nights, right? It was just all fogged out. Cash for Cash ends up winning the Champion of Champions that night, and Be A Bono part of that field. In the barn, just being around Be A Bono, tell me about his personality.
Why, he was, Spencer's wife pretty well hit it on the head. She called him Be A Bonehead. And he was just kind of a big clown, He just never took anything serious until he got out on the racetrack.
He liked to stick his tongue out at you, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he did.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But it was worth it all, because he just had a fantastic career, a millionaire. And I know that Spencer, wasn't nervous about trying new things with him, including, the way that he kind of experimented with some surgeries to kind of lengthen his career as well, huh?
Yeah. Spencer, I tell you, he was a pioneer.
Absolutely.
He absolutely was a pioneer, and he was never afraid to do anything different, in the breeding end of it, when they started all the multiple embryos and everything, he said, I'm going to get right in there with them. He didn't really like it, but he did.
Definitely one of a kind, and one of the legends, true legends in the history of quarter horse racing, Spencer Childers. Dan, take us back to the early part of your career, because in a way you were part of a race that was kind of pioneer a new era of quarter horse racing, the Champion of Champions. In 1974, you win the Champion of Champions with a horse by the name of Don Guerro. And we were fortunate enough to find the chart of that race. Dan, Don Guerro wins the race by a neck. Time to Think Rich finishes second. We have Passover, Charger Bar, Flight 109, just some legendary names. Dan, what do you remember about that race?
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think you'll find a finer bunch of runners than that bunch right there. But, that was my first real big win, a stakes win. And I was a nervous wreck that day, I'll tell you, leading up to it. Just the whole thing, the whole experience of it. But
and from the looks of it, he broke on top, Don Guerro did, and held off. Time to Think Rich, who was, had a tremendous career at Ruidoso Downs. Right.
We had done a lot of gate work with that horse. He had a bad habit. Earl Holmes had trained him as a 3-year-old, but he had a terrible time stumbling away from the gates, and we really did a lot of work at the starting gate, and it paid off that day, I'll tell you.
Look at that price, Jose. Your type of runner. Yeah,
absolutely. I could have used the tip back in 1974 that you were going to run this one at 19-1 and win it all.
Robert was sick that day, and he couldn't come to the races. So when I called him, the only thing he wanted to know is what did he pay? How much did he pay?
There you go, 19-1. What a great price.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long shot star, one of the first Champion of Champions running, the third running of the Champion of Champions, Don Guerro, part of a great history of that terrific race. Yeah. And let's move a decade later. And again, another kind of pioneer type of thing, because Griswold kind of becomes this superstar runner. And he was really good in straightaway races, Dan, and then also becomes just the first just legendary 870 horse.
Yeah. He, oh, Lord, that horse, he gave me a lot of these gray hairs I've got.
Why is that?
You bring him in after a layoff, and the son of a gun, it took him forever to get going again, you know. And then once he got going, boy, I mean, he was tough to outrun. But I was lucky enough to get an out in him before I tried him 870. I run him in the Champion of Champions, and he ran third. And that was that. And I'd already worked him 3/8 of a mile before I run him in the Champion Champions. We didn't think we stood a chance, but he ran a big race anyway.
What was the straightaway race that he won, the stakes race?
The Governor's Cup Derby.
And what do we have running this week, Jose?
Governor's Cup Derby. There you go.
Exactly.
Dan, tell your memories about the legendary match race between Griswold and Valiant Pete. You were saying how.
I said, I wished you had forgot about that one.
Well, you know, it's kind of hard to forget because each year they're still showing the replays of that race on the anniversary of that race. It's such a, you know, it's just such a incredible point in the history of quarter horses. It was a huge thing.
I think those thoroughbred guys just like to brag about it.
Oh, come on.
The horse ran a good race. It was the things leading up to it was just back and forth. We really never had a handle on what we were doing over there. And then finally, all at once, okay, we're going to run. But after they got everything their way, you know. But he ran a good race. I wasn't that.
A fantastic race indeed. And then you won over 800 races at Los Alamitos Racecourse, won something like 80 stakes races here as well. As far as trainers are concerned, you're at the very, very top of the list. And, you know, towards the later part of your career, you still had some really good horses. No Pet Peeves is a horse that comes to mind. There's Be A Bono. We're taking a good look at Be A Bono and G.R. Carter. When was the last time you saw G.R. Carter?
This last weekend.
There you go.
Yeah, we had dinner together, and he went roping, and I went over there with him, and yeah, we stay in touch.
That's awesome. And I was just touching base, you know, and talking about No Pet Peeves' grandpa, I believe you guys called him. You also trained New Look, who won a lot of stakes races here at Los Alamitos, and Forest Fire, who was a terrific runner. Talk about some of those great horses that you had, and you know, if anything, kind of made them similar, and what kind of unique things did they have?
Well, I think you left out one of the best ones was St. Willa.
Okay. Tell me about that.
She was a champion age mare, and she won a few of them big stakes. You know.
Well, like I mentioned, you won over 80 stakes races, Dan, so we could talk about a lot of great horses that you trained.
Yeah. I was very fortunate. You know, most of my owners were actually just small state-bred horses, you know, except for when I finally got Spencer, you know, he came up with the big ones. But I was very fortunate over the years.
One that comes to mind for me later on was This Party on Fire.
Oh, yes.
Golden State Million, I believe 2007, 2009, somewhere around those years.
Yeah, we still see some of her babies running here at Los Alamitos.
Yeah. I haven't kept up on her babies. I was wondering if she's ever going to have a good one. She should have. Yeah, and well, Doc had it. I had another horse for Doc too. You know, 10 o'clock scholar. He win the championship there and run out about 300,000.
Yeah, just a tremendous career that you had. You know, you mentioned so many of these horses. Dan, to close out, any race that stands out over all those great ones that you had? Any one race that stands out as perhaps, you know, your proudest moment as a trainer?
Oh, I'd almost have to say Don Guerro on Champions. That, you know, like I said, that was my first big one. I'd win the Hillsdale Handicap up at Bay Meadows with a little horse, but Don Guerro, that was my first big horse.
Absolutely. It's kind of hard to top.
1, Dan. 19-1. I'm gonna remember that. 19-1. Don Guerrero.
Well, I'm not a gambler, so I didn't bet on him.
Right on. Well, thanks, Dan, for so much for taking time to just go back memory lane with us. It's always fun to kind of reminisce about some of those great horses that we've seen here at this fantastic racetrack, Los Alamitos Racecourse. And it's great people like you that make it so special.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for talking, Dan. And look, you like my Hawaiian shirt? How you like it?
You bet. I like that.
There you go. Thank you, Dan.
Thanks so much, Dan.
Thank you for joining us.
We can do it again sometime.
You bet.
Yeah.
Now at Los Alamitos, it's weekends full of thrilling action.
Racing!
With live quarter horse and thoroughbred racing every Saturday and Sunday nights. More races on our weekend night, plus strong fields in our early and late pick fours. And we're still adding $10,000 into our pick six pool when there's not a carryover going into the Sunday card. It's a great deal in our traditional pick six. Don't miss a second of the thrilling action at Los Alamitos.
Racing!
Every Saturday and Sunday nights.
Welcome back to the show, Orlando. Pleased to have you better on the video feed. That was a fun interview there, fun chat with Dan Francisco. One name that kind of jumps to mind, one barn that kind of jumps to mind was the Scott Willoughby, because now those talented 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds are getting older, and he's stacked in one of these races with the older runners.
Yeah, they got to face each other at some point, and he wasn't nervous about doing it right off the bat. You know, Chocolatito hasn't raced since the trials to the Brad McKenzie Winter Championship. Nomadic is going to be making his older horse debut in the Spencer Childers, and of course Circle City coming off of a big win in the Vessel's Maturity. And guess what? Now they get to face each other, so we're going to see who's the top of the barn, at least for right now, Jose.
Yeah, they're drawn in gates 1, 3, and 6. You had a chance to catch up with Scott Willoughby at the barn, talk about his runners. So let's catch up with that interview here with Scott Willoughby.
He's doing great. He came back fantastic after the race. He's ready to run in the Spencer Childers on Calbred night. Everything looks fantastic for him. We've got some other horses going in that race, but he's going to be pretty tough. You know, Chocolatito and Nomadic, they're going to be pretty tough too, and just be real. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
That's quite a trio. Should be a great race.
I've got some great older horses, so it's a lot of fun.
There it is, Orlando. Scott Willoughby there. He says it's fun having the older runners because, you know, obviously they're kind of developing into some good horses, but they got to face each other now, and they're kind of, at least they're separated in gates, right? Sometimes it can get tricky when they're drawn side by side. They kind of can bump each other. They're Circle City in gate 1, Chocolatito in gate 3, and Nomadic in gate 6 in that field of 7.
Yeah, and every once in a while you talk to a trainer after a big race, and he says, "My horse hit me, you know, my horse knocked me out." And not this time, like you mentioned, Circle City going from the one post. I think that that'll be pretty interesting for this horse. He flashed pretty good speed last out and came flying late. We'll see if that happens again in the Spencer Childers. Chocolatito, we know what he can do, especially in those last 100 yards. 400-yard distance. He should love that second half of this race. And Nomadic, he's done a little bit of both. He's shown us some speed. He won the Southern California Derby by being just off the leader and coming strong and catching Kiss Through Fire in that race. So it's going to be a heck of a race. And all in all, it's a pretty solid field because you have Made Over, who ran second in the Vessel's Maturity, and also Mentor Error, who we know can run big. He's done it before and raced it like the Super Derby, even going back to his 2-year-old campaign. And you have a couple of other runners, Mr. Tornado and Cartel Love. Hey, we've seen upsets here in big races, Jose.
Yeah, we have. And interesting. Should we read anything into the jockey musical chair going on? Victor Zalazar has been the go-to rider for this barn now. Should we read anything that he sticks with Chocolatito instead of Nomadic, or maybe even getting the callback on Circle City? Is there anything to look there?
You know, it's pretty tough sometimes because some jockeys fit horses, better. And if a trainer has as many good horses, as Scott Willoughby does, sometimes it's just a matter of, who fits who better, who rides maybe more comfortable from a specific spot. With Chocolatito, he's a pretty good pro, and we know that he's going to be flying late. So maybe that's how Victor Salazar feels a little bit better with that horse. This horse had a workout not too long ago, and he stumbled pretty bad out of that work, and then came flying in the second half of that work. So maybe Victor did see something that he really, really liked in those final yards in that workout. And, so it might, we just don't know. We really don't know. Sometimes it's just the way that horses and jockeys fit together.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting there. That's going to go at race number 9 on Saturday. But I know you wanted to take a look at a replay here in this race. It specifically is the vessel's maturity there. We know Circle City prevailed there towards the outside with a pretty good trip. But there's another runner you kind of wanted to focus on, right?
Yeah, I want to take a look at Made Over, especially the head-on, because the comment, it says the horse switch leads. So kind of this, I thought it'd be a good thing for racing fans to take a look at that, and kind of what we can see when the comment says switch leads, especially from the head-on. You can see this horse coming down the straightaway here in the Vessel's Maturity, a big race, and he ran a huge race. Made Over did. Let's
take a look at that replay here for Made Over.
And Jose, we want to remind fans that replays of all of our races are available at losalamitos.com. The pan angle is available, as well as the head-on angle. The head-on's great to look at horses, how they're moving in and out around the track. The pan angle gives you a pretty good feel of how the jockey is kind of working with the horse. We're going to take a look here at Made Over, breaking from post number 3. Remember, this horse is going to run second in this race. And the comment by our chartman, George Duarte, an excellent chartman here at Los Alamitos, will be switch leads at the 1/8 pole. So that's a little bit after the gap happening. And you see here for number 3 post there in the yellow silks. Jockey's asking him, and you can already start seeing Made Over starting to go out, comes back inside, and just about here, he kind of goes and switches leads. Now it's going from one of his legs going forward to the other side of his legs going forward, slows his momentum just a bit, still finishes with a lot of runs second there to the outstanding Circle City. Let's take a look at the head-on now. Remember, we're looking at post number 3, Made Over. Breaks pretty nicely.
Breaks well, yeah.
Oh, he's going to start kind of wanting to go outside. The jockey does a good job in kind of steering him in. Now he's going in, and now you see right there.
Right there. Yeah,
right there. He's switching leads, slows down his momentum somewhat, but still able to hold off for second place, still able to hold off the third place runner in that race.
Yeah, so that was a good look there at Made Over. You got to kind of pay attention to where it happens, but it did happen. You see the switching of leads, and you kind of see his momentum there changing. But nonetheless, he ran a game effort there. Second best, Circle City. Circle City was in the towards the outside part of the gate. Now Circle City is drawn on the inside here tonight. So that's a little bit of a preview there on the Spencer Childers Grade 1, $100,000 on the line. That will be go as race number 9. So it's going to be a fun race. The Saturday program is going to end with the Governor's Cup Futurity there, Orlando. Later on, any other storylines that you wanted to touch on here on Saturday?
Well, I went with number 4, Set For It. I like the price, 4-1. Valentin Zamudio going for his 3rd straight victory in the Governor's Cup Futurity. Won it in 2019 with Pitbull. Won it last year with Constituent. Now Set For It, a horse that was purchased at the Los Alamitos equine sale last year. A nice price, to a little bit over $28,000. Ran an excellent race in the trials. Won going away. Set For It, a pretty good contender, I feel. Is going to have his hands full with the half-sisters, Fire Fast Honey and Favorite Honey. Fire Fast Honey, terrific in the kindergarten futurity. Favorite Honey, terrific in the trials. Those will be pretty tough horses. But overall, Jose, I think it's a really good field. She Goes Up, solid, finishing second to Favorite Honey, Sizzling and Fast. The mare of that horse has done terrific things over her career with her babies, Sizzling Fast, and of course Jaime Gomez does great job with the 2-year-olds. The Swamp, another Valentin Zamudio horse, and this horse is I believe it's a half brother to Constituent, who won the Governor's Cup Futurity last year. The Swamp is Nevada Charles, awesome debut by the Nevada Charles, and has been pretty consistent throughout. Watch Out, a horse that just flew late. So a really good really good group of horses here in this one. And the outside two, you always got to look at the outside two. Separate Cruises can really fly late and call it close, has been right there every single time in all of her outings. So a really good feel from top to bottom in the Futurity.
Both of the outside runners are closers, which should bode well for the running styles drawn toward the outside Separate Cruises there and call it close. You mentioned the Swamp of Avanti de Murillo, and he's got Separate both drawn side by side. So the Swamp, like you mentioned, is, I believe, half to Constituent.
Yep.
But I think a full to Skidward. They both were brothers that ran 1-2 in last year's Governor's Cup Futurity. So he's got that brother there going in post number 3. I like Set For It as well. And just for fun, why don't we look at that replay? Set For It is going to be in gate 4 there on this trials night. That was his second try at 350 yards there. Set For It there is going to be able to prevail there. He bumped on the outside, but once he kind of leveled out, I mean, he's like, this is easy. He's going to be able to pull away. And I thought it was a very confident win here for Set For It under Ruben Lozano. So I was very impressed. We mentioned the bloodlines here being out of the dam there, Up For It, who was a winner of the Governor's Cup Futurity. So I'm with you. I think Set For It is improving at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the jockey there just kind of showing, just flagging the horse a little bit. And as that's going on, the horse just continues to stride out really well. Just terrific finish by Set For It. Again, the price 4-1. It's definitely worth a look in the Governor's Cup Futurity, in my opinion.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, you'll give us maybe another play for Saturday. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back.
City in the ascendancy late, and the Golden State Derby winner takes the vessel's maturity. Chocolate Tito's storming to victory in the vessel's maturity. A kiss through fire wins the Charger Bar.
Welcome back to the program. I'm talking here Saturday night with Professor G. And you got a horse you want to take a look at in race number 5. That is correct?
That's right. We're going to take a look at in race 5, number 5, Val Bank from the Bono trainer Jorge Farias, 4-1 on the morning line. There's a maiden claiming race for $10,000 horses, and Val Bank still a maiden, but I like the way that this horse performed last out, showed some speed, faced some trouble, and still was there working pretty hard. The number 7 horse, he's a Grave Digger, is going to be the one to beat in race 5. But 4-1, I like the number 5 horse, Val Bank.
Yeah, he's going to be in gate 5 here in this replay. He's going to shift out a little bit. She's going to shift out a little bit in this effort. She was 2-1 that night, Orlando. But after not breaking all that well, she kept trying there. In the end, ended up being beaten 3/4 of a length in that spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we can see the head on as well, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah,
Jose.
the head on here. So the head on here for Val Bank. Again, losalamitos.com is the
You see a little trouble there, kind of comes out, and it's going to get bumped right around here. Little bump there. And it's always kind of bothered. There it is again. So it's always bothered in this race. So that's going to kind of make her shy a little bit during the course of the race, but still finish with some good energy. And I'm going to give it a shot there, Val Bank. I think with a better trip, a better start, kind of a clear running path, I think you can get the job done here on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's going to be Val Bank in gate number 5 in race number 5. And that is the start of the pick 6. So you're trying to give people a key to the pick 6, Orlando. I like that. I like that.
And of course, our pools for the pick 6 have been great. Last Saturday, I want to say it was around $26,000 for the pick 6 pool. And of course, on Sunday with our promotion, the total pool was $77,000, Jose. So people are loving the traditional pick 6, $2 pick 6 here at Los Al.
I'm just going to buy myself a nameplate that says Mr. 5 out of 6, because that's been me. I've been like a 5 out of 6. It's tough, but it's a fun bet. When you can cash, you're usually cashing for good money.
Yeah, that's been great.
Yeah. Speaking of 5 out of 6, my most recent 5 out of 6 happened last week. So the horse that I like which was the Mike Robbins. The name is escaping me, but what was that Mike Robbins trainee in the last race?
Broken Heart Tattoo? No, Dream for it, right?
Dash something? Was it Dash something?
Dash to Sign.
Yeah, Dash to Sign. So that was my key. And we were kind of talking about that comebacker, the Golden State Relay Futurity third place finisher for Jaime Gomez. I mean, that was a tremendous performance off top.
Jay Best Boogie.
About as good as performance we've seen off the layoff in recent years.
Right.
I mean, that was sensational. They came home. I mean, the Mike Robbins tourney ran a winning effort in defeat. He just ran into an absolute sensational performance that night.
Yeah, Dash to Sign has run 3 terrific races in a row now.
Yeah, so those 2 runners, we're gonna be hearing from them later on here. They ran sensational 1-2 there on that night. All right. So, anything else you want to touch on here tonight?
Well, we were fortunate enough to stop at the barn of trainer Juan Aleman, who's going to have some pretty good runners going in the sprint stakes with Cocktail Cove, and also in the matron stakes with Kiss Through Fire. Of course, Kiss Through Fire has had a sensational career, has done well at Ruidoso, has done extremely well here at Los Alamitos, went to Remington Park and faced the top mares out there, and now comes back here at Los Alamitos and kind of picked a good spot here. The matron stakes, I think she's definitely a standout in this solid race. An outstanding race and an outstanding field, and you're going to be entering this fellow right here, Cattail Cove. He's had some outstanding races here at Los Alamitos, and now getting ready for a big race. The way that he's performed so many times over the years, what do you think is his strength?
Well, this horse, he's coming off a layoff, and I think it's just been taking him a couple starts to get back into his rhythm. I expect him to get better during the year. He hasn't performed to expectations yet, but I think he's getting there. It's his first big layoff he's had, so we're hoping he gets back on track and able to get into these big races coming up.
What do you think has kept them from reaching that?
Well, I think it's just time. I think time, like I said, it was his first time coming off a layoff. Sometimes it takes horses a little bit longer to get back to their peak performance. So, he's only had those 2 outs. So, I expect that in his third out and on to be back to where he was at.
Now, one of the top age mares in the nation, Kiss Through Fire. What a great win she had in the Charger by handicap. And now we might see her this weekend, right?
Yeah, well, looks like we're going to be shooting for the Matron this weekend, California Nights with her. So, it's good to have her back. Didn't have her there for a couple of months, but it's good to have her back in the barn. You always want a good mare like that in your barn, and she's back, and we'll see, how she does in the Matron this weekend. Yeah,
she spent the spring at Remington Park, where she ran in some big-time stakes races up there. Of course, she won the Charger Bar in a tremendous fashion, but even before that, in the Southern California Derby, she was just showing you so much fight.
Yeah, this mare's been always good. I mean, as a 2-year-old since I've had her, she's qualified all the big races. She just wasn't getting out of the gate quick, and getting into some trouble. But she's always been a hard knocker, always been qualifying to the big races. But towards her 3-year-old, end of her 3-year-old season, she really started coming out of the gate. And once she comes out of the gate, she's tough. She has a real late kick. So that's where she's at right now.
Over your career, you've had some great luck with some outstanding mares at Political Time, Flame and Flash.
I've been fortunate to have these mares, and they've been outstanding individuals. Good luck. We've had luck with the mares, and hopefully the luck keeps on coming our way.
That was Juan Aleman at the barn, Orlando. Capped Up Cove, Kiss Through Fire there. Good insight there into some those runners. But he mentioned Capped Up Cove, the time off there for that one.
Yeah, and talking to Juan, even off camera, he was just talking about how close this horse is to being 100%. And he kind of shared a little tidbit on the horse and the horse's personality. And he just kind of said, when this horse is going really well, doing really good, he just gets this coat that's almost this rich black with little blue tint. He gets like this black bluish tone on him. And right away I thought, well, I think I've seen something similar to that. And, the last time that Eye on the Sky won his Edberg Million trials, if you look at the photo that William Zuazo took and shared it with us, You can kind of see that rich bluish tone a little bit on this brown coat that Eye on the Sky has. And if people that get Track Magazine, we actually use this photo in the ad for Track Magazine, and they can turn that around, the back page ad, they can really, really see it. It really stands out just to get that rich color. So I thought it was kind of a good tidbit that Juan Aleman shared on what just the appearance of a horse can kind of tells him how the horse is doing, Jose.
Yeah, that's fun insight there. How a horse's coat really indicates how well they're doing, and Juan Aleman kind of pointing towards that direction. That coat might be reaching back to that level that we saw him put up a sensational time. Going back to his 2-year-old campaign.
That's right.
Sensational time on trials night, and then ran a big effort in the feet there in the Golden State in the Los Angeles 2 million Futurity. Excuse me. He hasn't really reached back up to that level. It kind of seems like a few of the runners a few of the other runners in his class level in his his age kind of catched up to him in that winter. But now he might be trending and back to that level where he's maybe back to that top running line. So he's obviously one of the contenders there in that race. So also Kiss Through Fire. She's been sensational here locally in Los Alamitos. Last time out, she didn't get out to a good start, but still put up a good effort there at Remington Park. I think getting back to her quote-unquote local track in Los Alamitos where she's won a Grade 1, I think that's something.
Yeah, and just having that time back at Los Al, and one thing that Juan also said is just what a fighter she is. She just loves to compete, and we've seen it on some of her races when she's kind of just off the pace and just comes flying on those final yards. Nomadic took a great effort from Nomadic to take the Southern California Derby away from her. So it's a really, it's kind of fun to see those horses that just give them their all in races.
Yeah, Juan Aleman Barn has plenty of contenders there for this weekend, California Champions Weekend at Los Alamitos. So those are fun interviews, Orlando. Thanks for getting those. You get up like at 4 a.m. and go out to the barn and do all that stuff?
Love it. It's a lot of fun.
Hi, racing fans. I'm Carla. Let's take a tour inside the Los Alamitos gift shop. It's wall-to-wall of authentic Los Alamitos gear in a variety of fun styles. You name it, it's here. Hats, shirts, jackets, and more. Which one do you like? It's tough to pick my favorite. I like them all. Stay warm while looking cool. We have hundreds of unique gifts, even equine racing artwork of the biggest stars in racing. And can't forget the little ones. I love this one. Find something great for yourself and the racing fan in your life. Next time you're at the track, visit the Los Alamitos gift shop located just inside our main entrance. Thanks for watching.
All right, welcome back, Orlando. We just saw the commercial, the spot for the gift shop. The gift shop is back and open, and Carla's doing a great job over there.
Absolutely, and we just saw just a few of the items featured in the gift shop. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of just great pieces, great items, a lot of fantastic logo wear. Yeah, that's right. That's one of my favorite jackets there. And she kind of showed a few hats. We got so many great hats there in the gift shop. A lot of different styles, different colors. So your next visit to Los Alamitos, it's right there, just inside the main grandstand entrance. Pay the gift shop, a visit, and you can find a little something there for yourself or for your favorite person as well, So a lot of fun things happening in the gift shop there at Los Alamitos Racecourse.
Yeah, you got stuff for the gentlemen, for the misses, the ladies, the kids, the kiddos. You got paintings, you got jewelry. What else?
Toys, toys for the kids. Lots of fun
toys
things.
for the kids. A little bit of everything there in the gift shop. Once you enter the main grandstand, it's going to be on the left, right there on the left. The program stand is on the right, and then on the left is the gift shop. So take a visit. Visit us there at the gift shop, open now during the racing season. That was a good look there with the interviews for Scott Willoughby, Juan Aleman, and a few replays. Let's kind of glance over the Sunday program, the second of the 2 nights here for the California Breeders' Champions weekend, Orlando. And that is going to be highlighted there on Sunday night with another 10-race program. And that is going to conclude with the Governor's Cup Derby there, race number 10.
Yeah, the Governor's Cup Derby, the standout performance, I think, overall for these trials coming in is Monopolist's effort in his trial race. You just don't see horses winning by over 3 lengths against that level of competition, and he was just terrific performance by Monopolist, counting the ways, also with a big race. Jose, these horses faced each other in the Los Alamitos 2 million final, and Monopolist was outstanding in that race. But Jose, we do have a little bit of a footage of Jimmy Glenn Jr. and Jose Flores talking about the Governor's Cup Derby and their horses, Monopolist, and counting the ways.
Yeah, so let's take a look at those videos here. James Glenn Jr. and then Jose Flores here talking about their contenders here for the Governor's Cup.
He was even better than his workout, and he had a sensational workout. He did stumble a little bit in that gate work, but now, what a race.
Yeah, Henry said when they said go, he was gone. And, last year he was always a step slow. But he said when they said go, he was 3/4 in front, and said he just really never let him run, tried to gear him down late. And so, yeah, we're real happy with him.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I remember from him last year. Just he had some outstanding finishes where he would maybe be a little bit behind, and then he would just come flying at the end, this time in control the entire way.
Yeah. A buddy of mine asked me what I thought of him this year coming back. And a few weeks ago, I was, he was doing okay. But in the last 10 days, all of a sudden he really had turned the corner, and he was better than he was last year. And so Henry, he's a young rider, up and coming rider, pretty talented, and so there was a lot of pressure on him, but he handled it well, so it was good.
And the horse also had some little bit of time off.
Yeah, he needed a break. He had a long campaign. We never did ship him out of here. We just kind of kept him here and didn't do much with him and let him just kind of back off a little bit, and then brought him slowly back up, and he apparently liked it.
We're here with trainer Jose Flores. You got to be happy with the performance of counting the ways after a long layoff, just to come back and win against a really good field.
Yeah, we did. I was a little bit concerned, but it wasn't that many in the trials, so we decided to go on with him, because he didn't have a 350 work. We just gave him a few greases, but he did real well. He worked really good at that 220. He worked it in 11.8, and I told Cruz just take it easy with him, and get him through it, and then we'll see.
He didn't ask him for much at the end.
No. There was, I told him if he was comfortable up there, not to push him because he hadn't worked far enough, but luckily he did. He's a class horse, and I think he'll continue getting better and better.
One thing that I noticed about that workout that you gave him at 220, no blinkers.
We're just gonna let him roll out there, but we'll see. We're gonna go with no blinkers, but we just went with little blinkers, and he did okay with them, so we're happy.
So that was James Glenn Jr., Jose Flores. Good performers. They got good runners in their barn. But I mean, hard to not think that Monopolist, with that kind of performance, if he repeats it, I mean, everybody else should be running for second. Can he repeat that effort, Orlando?
Well, by the looks of that race, it's like you mentioned, it's really, really difficult. And the thing about him is that he's done it before. Sometimes horses that have never done it, they might look terrific in the trials, but we haven't seen it do it in the final. But Monopolist has done it. He won the PCQHRA British Futurity last year with an outstanding effort, coming strong late. He ran extremely well in the 2 million. He did well in the Winter Derby. So we know that he can come back and put together back-to-back strong performances. I don't think he's had a bad race yet in his career. So I definitely think he can do it.
Any pick for the Sunday card that you want to give the viewers?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll go to race number 6. This is the Gents List Memorial Stakes. Gents List, of course, the patriarch of Double Bar S Ranch, an outstanding breeder, California breeder, raced and stood Strawfly Special and many other outstanding runners. This race named in his honor. I'm going to go with the 5, Catella Avenue, in this race, coming off of a 3rd place finish in a Derby trial against Monopolist and also Expediate, who qualified to the Governor's Cup Derby. Catella Avenue, I believe the odds on this horse are 6-1, Jose. I don't have it right in front of me. We're still working on that Sunday program, but At 6-1, number 5, Catella Avenue. This horse has also performed consistently. And the way that he ran in that last outing, I really just like the effort that he gave from gate to wire after a little bit of not a great start, a little bit of a sluggish start, just maintained his energy, just kept on going. Really liked the way that Catella Avenue performed overall in that race. Let's take a look at that video, Jose, of Catella Avenue breaking from the rail, post number 1 in that race.
Yeah, he's gonna be in that inside post there. And I thought, given that it was the inside post, he got away okay in a fine start. And I think if you focus on the early part of the race, Orlando, this was a good effort. Monopolist was pretty much gone at this point.
Absolutely. No one was beating Monopolist.
No, but if you focus on Catella Avenue, he's going to be right there, kind of still holding on for third there in that spot. Only about, half a length behind the second place finisher, Expedited. So I thought overall, Catella Avenue ran fairly well in that trial.
It now goes from post number 1 to an outside post. You saw the horse, how he broke in a little bit. Now gets to go to the outside post. Might be a little bit comfortable out there, and might just get rolling. Favorite Fly on the outside is not a very quick horse. So Catella Avenue can get a nice jump and be right there in the front and battle for the battle with the leaders. I think he can maybe surprise and and get the Gents list, a victory in the Gents list.
Well, if he runs well, then that's going to flatter the form of Monopolist for later on in the night. So we'll kind of know how Catella Avenue ran early in the night, kind of looking forward there to Monopolist and in the Derby there in race number 10. So that's a look at this weekend, Orlando. Thanks for your insight. Thanks for getting those interviews. Looking forward to it. It should be a fun card here for Los Al.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Remember, Saturday night, Sunday night, California Breeders' Champions weekend here at Los Alamitos. A lot of great racing action. The Sunday card, 10 races, all of them quarter horse races. So looking forward to an exciting action-packed program this weekend at Los Al.
We'll take a break, and we'll come back here with more for this preview for Los Alamitos. Welcome back to the program here, previewing Los Alamitos weekend here with the California Breeders' Champions weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And now pleased to be joined by Christopher Wade. Chris, welcome back to the show. We had some good efforts from the selection last week. We kind of have seconditis. Both your selection, my selection, they ran well, but second best. But I checked the results down at Ruidoso, and that was a very nice winner there in the Futurity down there.
Yeah, we actually had both our selections on Saturday and Sunday, and then on Sunday, our long shot did run second down the inside, despite up the underneath exotics. So it was a successful weekend at Ruidoso for us.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for the simulcast selections there. And before we talk about Los Alamitos here, what are you tackling this week in your simulcast selections? What tracks?
Yeah, well, Saturday, of course, it's Zia Quarter Horse Derby at Sam Houston Race Park. We're going to try to beat the heavy favorite in there. I'm Icy Morning Breeze is your heavy favorite. This horse has won 4 in a row, 3 this racing season, but has beaten our Big D, the 4-horse, on more than one occasion. But Big D ran a very solid race last time, and the horse actually earned a career best figure on my charts. So I'm looking for the minor upset to beat Icy Morning Breeze. Then we'll go with the 7 Eagles and Dragons. The horse who came off a long layoff last time of 251 days and earned a pretty solid figure. That'll be my long shot in the Ruidoso event, the Zia Quarter Horse Derby. So we're going to go 4 Big D and then 2 Icy Morning Breeze, are heavy favorite. And the price player will be Eagles and Dragons, the 7-horse, in that event. And then, of course, they're at Sam Houston Race Park. We do have the Rotama Derby there. It goes at 7:41 there on Saturday evening. We're going to go with T. Britt there, try to beat the favorite in their DM deal. Maybe the devil, maybe do it. And of course, Cartel Atu, a horse there for Ramirez Brothers trainer and rider. Ran a very good second in the debut, so expected improvement in the Rotama Derby. We'll go 3, 9, and 8 in the Derby. Then, of course, the TQHA sell Futurity, $435,000 plus purse. We'll go to Hawk It To You as our favorite. It has a big look in that affair. Cali Chrome has a chance as well. Then Fire in Her Eyes, improving in each and every start, has a chance to be an exotic at the very least. So those are events on the simulcast card this weekend.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Good simulcast there. Good product coming in from Sam Houston. You can find Chris Wade's selections there. A lot of the analysis for the simulcast signal in the Nightlights program. What race do you want to take us to this week? What race and what horse?
Well, I'm going to go with a price in the Governor's Cup Futurity on Saturday night, the Grade 1 affair. The one to beat, obviously, Fire Fast Honey for Monte Rosa, a horse that won the kindergarten, that won the trial rather handily. But the horse does exit the same race, the same trial as Fast First Honey will be the 3-horse, the Swamp there for Valentin's Mudio. He's a good long shot trainer. This horse has improved in each subsequent start. And this horse in that event, I got this horse breaking a little slow and was crossed, kind of slow in the stride, was finishing better than looked and galloped out pretty strong. So this horse has a look if Fire Fast Honey doesn't come out with these gigantic quick speed to open up a big lead. I think the Swamp at 10-1 on the morning line has a look to get a piece of the pie, and he might even have a chance to move forward here and have a look at the top end. But that's my price play in the Governor's Cup Futurity in tonight's and Saturday's event there in race number 10.
Yeah, it's going to be from post number 3. And by the way, this colt is a brother to the runners that finished 1-2 last year's edition. Remember, trained by Valentin's Mudio as well. That was Constituent and Squidward. I kind of mixed it up in my mind which one finished first, which one finished second. But those were half brothers that ran 1-2 in last year's edition of the Governor's Cup Futurity. Now the Swamp, a sibling to those two, is competing there at 10-1. Why don't we show the viewing public that replay, Chris, of that latest effort by the Swamp on trials night? So I'll bring up the replay here. And the Swamp was in gate 4 in that field of 7. The Swamp there, like you mentioned, put up a pretty game effort. Only missed by about 3/4 of a length there. And was still kind of reaching on the top 2, which was Fire Fast Honey and Call It Close. And, it's never a bad thing when you can pick up the likes of a rider like Ramon Sanchez, right?
Yeah, no kidding. He's closing in on some big wins here pretty soon.
That is a replay there for the Swamp. Ramon Sanchez takes the call, and Ramon Sanchez takes the call because Ruben Lozano opts to stick with Set For It, who's immediately on the outside in gate number 4. All right, Chris, so you're going to go with the Swamp there in the Governor's Cup Futurity. You're probably going to get a great price, 10-1. I don't expect him to get bet down too much there because of the other runners in that quality field. So thanks for joining us, and good luck with that selection.
You too. Have a good night.
Thanks, Chris. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Michael Wrona.
Circle City in the ascendancy late, and the Golden State Derby winner takes the vessel's maturity. Chocolatitos storming to victory in the vessel's maturity. A kiss through fire wins the Charger Bar.
Welcome back to the program. Pleased to be joined now by Michael Wrona, the voice of Los Alamitos. We just saw a little bit of that commercial there highlighting the type of runners that are going to be featured in these 2 nights of racing here at Los Alamitos, Michael. And there is quality throughout both nights.
Oh, yeah. What a fantastic program both nights, Jose. I'm really jazzed about this California Breeders' Champion weekend. That field in the Spencer Child is really outstanding. Chocolatito making his long-awaited return to action, and then the full siblings. Just going to be a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, so you got Circle City and Chocolatito and Nomadic. Circle City and Nomadic are full siblings. Chocolatito by the same sire, so in relation on the dam side. But those 3 runners are in there with the mix of Mental Error, Made Over, Mr. Tornado, and Cartel Love, just to name a few. So plenty of good stakes action to be featured on this weekend. Like you mentioned, both Saturday and Sunday, both 10 race cards. So you're gonna be working deep into the night in both nights there, calling some of these very very nice runners. But what race did you want us to take a look here for this weekend?
I was looking toward the feature on Saturday night. That's the richest race across the weekend, the Governor's Cup Futurity. And I was just listening to Chris Wade give some thoughts on that race. He's thinking there might be some value outside of the favourite, Fire Fast Honey. I was of the same opinion that it might be worth trying to beat her, but I went in a different direction. I think that Set For It, number 4, has a really strong chance in the race. I know Fire Fast Honey was the fastest qualifier, and in doing so proved that the Kindergarten Futurity long shot win was no fluke. It was an impressive win, but the closing eighth of a mile split was nowhere near the fastest of the night. The fastest closing fraction was set by Set For It, who got a bump at the break. In the horse's first 2 races, Set For It broke on top, won the debut at 220 yards, beating a next time out winner, Roundabout, and then bumped into the very good Eye on the Sky, when second in an Ed Burke Million Futurity trial. No disgrace to be playing second fiddle to Eye on the Sky. Then transferred Barnes to Zamudio, who's shooting for his 3rd win in a row in this race, with Ruben Lozano getting on board. And this time the horse got a bump at the start, as we'll see in a moment looking at the replay, but was able to recover, finished off very strongly in the fastest closing fraction. And that's why I think that Set For It at about twice the price, 4-1 on the morning line versus Fire Fast Honey 2-1, is worth an investment.
Yeah, and Set For It was in gate 4 this night on trials night. And, I was impressed also by this effort because after bumping at the start right there, Michael, the way he held out midway through the race was very, very impressive.
Yeah, the horse was back second last in the early stages, in complete contrast to leading in the early stages of the first 2 races. So showed another dimension, showed real quality, I thought, in a strong performance. And I think that Set For It has a genuine chance to win the race. Good form lines from the first 2 races as well.
Yeah, good resume. 2 wins and a second and 3 starts. So he can't ask much better to begin the career there for Set For It. And Set For It, the dam Upward, won this event. She won the Governor's Cup Futurity. So the bloodlines are there for him to keep improving and perform at a high level, specifically in this race there. Ruben Lozano there jumping aboard. We saw these connections. This has been a hot connections of Valentin Zamudio and Ruben Lozano. Now, I think it's also worth noting that, it was only the first start in their barn, in their care. So, they're starting to figure this trio getting a little bit better here. And he's starting to kind of find another level. So, Set For It at 4-1 in the Governor's Cup Futurity. Should be a fun race there, given that Fire Fast Honey is drawn a little bit more towards the outside. And how about that? Fire Fast Honey and Favorite Honey.
Yeah.
To have siblings, they're drawn next to each other.
Yep, they'll be next door neighbors in the gate. And I know Chris was talking about the Swamp having a value chance in the race based on finishing 3rd in Fire Fast Honey's trial. It's funny that he mentioned that race because I was actually of the opinion that the horse to maybe use with Set For It in exotics was Called It Close out there in gate 10, who finished 2nd in that fastest trial, splitting Fire Fast Honey in the Swamp. Chris liked the run of the Swamp. I thought that Call It Close did a really nice job to finish 2nd from gate 1, and I loved the gallop out. I thought it was a super gallop out by Called It Close, who now moves from gate 1 to the far outside. So I'm thinking that 4 and 10 the way that I might try to play the race from an exacta standpoint. Obviously, Fire Fast Honey can be involved in the finish again and would surprise nobody. But just looking to dance around the favourite, trying to find a little bit of value, I think 4/10 is the way that I see that race.
And Call It Close has shown a tremendous late kick in the last three starts. So she has that ascending pattern, and that outside post, you're correct. That outside post could lend well to that closing style of hers to kind of have a clean path to run and close well to pick up the pieces. Right,
Yep,
so Michael
Flores
Wrona,
is a consistently strong finisher, and I think well suited out there in gate 10.
yeah, that should be all right. So that's going to be a fun race. The Grade 1 on Saturday, the Futurity. We'll have the Derby on Sunday, and much more in between, including the Grade 1 Spencer Chowders and plenty of other stakes events. Michael, thanks for your time, and looking forward to your calls on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Thanks so much, Jose. I'm very excited about the weekend at Los Alamitos.
Now at Los Alamitos, it's weekends full of thrilling action.
Racing!
With live quarter horse and thoroughbred racing every Saturday and Sunday nights. More races on our weekend night, plus strong fields in our early and late pick fours. And we're still adding $10,000 into our pick six pool when there's not a carryover going into the Sunday card. It's a great deal in our traditional pick six. Don't miss a second of the thrilling action at Los Alamitos.
Racing!
Every Saturday and Sunday nights.
Welcome back to the program. Let's take a look at our horse for Sunday's program in race number 6, specifically that ran better than what it appears on paper and can be a potential single there as part of that pick six sequence. Reminder on Sundays, if there is no carryover heading into the Sunday program, the pick six pool will be seated with $10,000 there by the racetrack. Sunday, race 6, the Gents L. List Jr. Memorial California Breeder Stakes. 400 yards is the distance. And let's take a look at a runner there from that inside post. And it's going to be High Hopes for the barn of Paul Jones. High Hopes will have the inside post in race number 6 on Sunday here for the barn of Paul Jones. High Hopes. Last time I was facing winners allowance was for the first time after getting the diploma 2 starts ago. I thought it was a pretty good third place finish given what happened early in the race. So here's the replay for our High Hopes. He was going to be in gate number 3 here in this field of 6. And just start. He's gonna break a bit slow there from gate number 3. Gets shuffled back just a bit there soon after the start. He's looking for room here in the second half of the race. And he's going to be able to finish with good strides. He ends up passing a couple of rivals in the final yards, ends up getting into third there after that slow start. And he's closing into final eighth in 9.59. So he's closing into a very pretty decent final eighth of 9.59. And he's doing it without really being asked for everything, given that at that point the race was pretty, the race was decided at that point. But I like the way you finished, and watch the gallop out. We'll pick it up there at the finish line. High Hopes or Ramon Sanchez are going to gallop out in front here around the turn with plenty of energy here. And that race was at 330 yards. Now he's stretching out to 400 yards, so 70 more yards. And he's still finishing with good energy there in the gallop out. So the slow start might have cost him a placing that night, but he still showed up with a pretty good effort there. That is going to be High Hopes from that inside post in race number 6. That is going to be my potential single for Sunday's program here on this California Breeders' Champions weekend. And that race number 6 is part of the pick 6. So that's going to do it for this weekend. Thank you to Orlando, Dan Francisco, Chris Wade, Michael Wrona, and all the viewers.
City in the ascendancy late, and the Golden State Derby winner takes the vessel's maturity. Chocolatitos storming to victory of the vessel's maturity. A kiss through fire wins the Charger Bar.